Hey everyone, my name is Chad Kirksick. I work as a professor here in the exercise science program at Lindenwood University. So I want to talk to you today about some of the different research studies that we like to do here within the EPNL, and talk to you specifically about one of the studies that we've got going on for high school athletes as well. So my goal today, first I'm just going to kind of provide a brief introduction about myself as well as the laboratory. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about a molecule, a dietary supplement that we call creatine. Creatine's been around for quite some time, but we've got a research study that we're looking for male and high school female athletes. So I'll talk a little bit more about that study as well. So just from a brief introduction perspective, again, my name's Chad Kirksick. I work as the director of the Exercise and Performance Nutrition Laboratory. I also serve the College of Science, Technology, and Health as an assistant dean. I've spent the last 18 years as a college professor, kind of working in areas related to exercise and nutrition. I'm the current president of the International Society of Sports Nutrition. I got my PhD in exercise nutrition in 2006, and then I'm also certified as a sports nutritionist and strength conditioning specialist. The laboratory I work in, so we started this laboratory back in 2015, and this is really the kind of the hub of teaching and research activities at Lindenwood. We primarily focus our efforts on research studies and educational efforts that center upon health, exercise performance, nutrition, supplementation, and recovery. And we got the link there. We certainly encourage you to go check out the website, kind of see some of the different things that we're doing. One of the big areas that we're really trying to move into is we really want to try to start doing more and more research investigation surrounding high school athletes or youth athletes. So we're really going to be examining several important areas really kind of right now and for several years to come. Areas kind of related to nutrition education, nutritional intake and fueling needs, supplementation concerns, and then also kind of outcomes related to body composition, strength, and power. We've currently got 2 studies open that do require visits to come to our laboratory, and then we've also got another study that's really getting pretty close to getting approved that will be fully online. So the study I wanted to spend the most of my time on this presentation talking about centers upon supplementation with creatine monohydrate, and really to help us understand a little bit better how supplementation can impact strength changes, power changes, body composition changes in both male as well as female high school athletes. Key priority of this presentation is going to be educate you on this topic, and then certainly if you're interested, ask you to participate and kind of show you how you go about beginning to be a participant. All right, so what is creatine? So creatine is a naturally occurring amino acid-like compound. Every single one of us is making creatine inside our body each day, and we use creatine for energy within our cells. What does creatine do? Well, as I said, it serves as an energy source for our cells. Plays a very key role in remaking energy during periods of very, very rapid energy turnover, kind of like when we're exercising. So things like exercise, sports, and other forms of training that many different types of athletes do require very rapid energy turnover. So that's where creatine kind of plays like a fairly unique role. About 95% of the creatine in our body is stored as phosphocreatine, primarily inside our muscles. So what happens when you supplement with creatine? Well, when we supplement with creatine, the stores of phosphocreatine increase in our muscle by about 20 to 40%. Really simple way of thinking about this is that it just gives you a bigger fuel tank, helps to kind of top off that fuel tanks. So do you have to supplement with creatine to see increases in these levels and the potential benefits? Technically, no, you don't. But practically speaking, yes, you do. And what I mean by that is our bodies make about 1 gram to around 1.5 grams of creatine every day. Foods such as red meat, seafood, herring are the foods that contain the highest sources of creatine. But it's really not realistic for people to consume enough of these food sources each day. We need to consume about 4 to 5 pounds of meat each day to consume enough creatine that we would otherwise get in supplemental form. All right, so creatine use in high school athletes. So this is kind of a key area as well. So I've highlighted kind of some key dates. So in 2001, it was a survey that was completed. It was 674 U.S. high school student athletes. About 76% of them, were aware of creatine. About 16% reported some type of use. 2002, a much larger survey, about 4,000 U.S. high school student athletes, 17% of them self-reported use. Move forward to 2012, 10 years later, really large survey, about 9,400 U.S. children and adolescents, and about 34% of them self-reported using creatine. So it's become much more popular, and we see this across a number of different surveys as well, that many athletes are already using creatine in some respects as well. So what studies have been done? Well, in adults, there's a tremendous amount of research. There's been scores of studies, probably well over 200 plus research studies that have been published just within the last 5 years. And if you go back to 1992, that number's kind of approaching pretty close to well over 1,000 articles. So there's a lot of science surrounding creatine. But in youth, the numbers are quite a bit smaller. Currently, there's about 10 studies that have been published involving youth, 5 of them in swimming athletes, 5 of them in soccer athletes, and the majority of them have happened in other places outside the United States. 2 of these studies have been published in Brazil, 2 in the United Kingdom, and then there's been some studies published in Australia, Chile, the USA, Iran, Hungary, as well as Yugoslavia. So average age of these studies, of these participants is around 16 to 17 years. These athletes in these studies are supplemented anywhere from about 7 days to around about 11 weeks or so. And the dosage that they're having these young athletes take is somewhere around 20 to 25 grams a day, followed by that 5-gram maintenance dose. To highlight again, there's only been one study done in the United States, although the United States is actually the highest consumer of creatine in both adults as well as teenage individuals. There's extremely limited information on female athletes. There's somewhat like less than about 20 female athletes overall from like 15 to 17 years of age have supplemented with creatine in research studies. So we're looking to change that. What do we see? What do we see from these changes? Well, there's consistent improvements in different types of sport-specific performance. There's no adverse events that are being reported. Creatine across the board has been pretty well established to be safe. So what's the study that we're wanting to do? Well, the purpose or the why is really to just help us to determine if creatine monohydrate supplementation impacts strength and power as well as body composition in high school aged male and female athletes. All right, so when's this study taking place? Well, it's actually active right now. It's ongoing. We've actually got a small number of participants, that have already finished the study. We've got a few participants that are getting ready to get started, and we're certainly looking for quite a few more. Where do you have to go? What do you have to do? Well, to participate in this study, individuals need to plan on making 3 visits to the Exercise and Performance Nutrition Laboratory here at Lindenwood in St. Charles, Missouri, on our campus. People that we're primarily looking for this study are going to be male and female high school athletes between 15 and 17 years of age, and we're looking to get somewhere around 100 of those athletes. You've got groups or teams, certainly they're welcome as well, and we can certainly kind of accommodate larger groups. All right, so what types of athletes are we looking for? The unique thing about our study is it doesn't matter. We're not doing just soccer athletes. We're not doing just swimming athletes. We're looking for all types of athletes. So baseball, softball, basketball, tennis, football, swimming, lacrosse, field hockey, you name it. If you're a 15 to 17-year-old male or female athlete, eligible to play for your high school, you are very likely going to be eligible for this study. When are the 3 visits? Well, we'll have 1 visit at the very beginning at week 0. We call that visit 1. It's the baseline. It's before you start supplementing. Then we'll have you take a loading dose for a week, and so then you'll basically come back in after 7 days. After you come back from that first week visit or that second visit, you'll then basically start taking a maintenance dose, and you'll come back about 7 weeks later. So kind of 8 weeks in total. And then you'll basically do all of the same measurements at each of those visits. And that'll allow us to really kind of track pretty well the the different changes that we see. Other questions kind of surrounding the study overall. Well, what happens at each visit? Well, we're going to measure your body weight. We're going to measure your heart rate and blood pressure. We're going to take a small blood sample, about 2 to 3 teaspoons of blood, and we're going to actually we're going to ask you to give us a small urine sample as well. And then we're going to do some kind of some different tests to evaluate strength and power and body composition. So we'll also evaluate basically how much water is inside your body. We've got a 3-dimensional body composition scanner that everybody will have a scan completed on. We've got a DEXA, which actually take an X-ray of your entire body. It's kind of the gold standard for body composition testing. And then we'll have a maximal strength test. We'll have a maximal power test. You'll also have to fill out some online dietary analysis questionnaires, and we're also going to kind of provide some type of a exercise or activity analysis throughout the first week of the study. So it'll be a really, really thorough kind of investigation into basically how creatine monohydrate impacts strength and power and body composition. Will you know what you're taking? Because again, everybody who signs up for the study, we will assign you to a supplementation group. And the answer to this question is no, you won't know what group you're taking. We call this double-blinded because we're not going to know what you're taking either. All right, the container that you get might be labeled with an X or a Z, and one group is the placebo and one group is creatine monohydrate. So for everybody, everybody's going to basically get chewable tablets, and some of them are going to be placebo tablets and some of them are going to be creatine tablets. For those of you that, if you say, well, I don't want to take a placebo, well, that's kind of the unique thing about a research study. You can't really choose, right? We're going to randomly choose you, to kind of go into a study. So it's kind of a flip of a coin. And that's really what makes this project so valuable from a scientific perspective. How much creatine do you have to take each day? Well, during the first week, you'll take 20 grams a day. We call that the loading dose. Loading dose has been really, really commonly completed within a number of the different research studies that have been published. And then from day 8 to 56, or the last 7 weeks of the study, you'll take 5 grams a day, which is a very, very common maintenance dose. What if you get tired of the study? What if you want to stop? What if you get injured? What if you want to move? What if you don't want to make a trip here? Certainly, we would like for you to think about all those things before you decide to participate. But your participation is voluntary. You can stop at any time that you want. All we ask you to do is just basically give us a phone call at the lab or send us an email and say, I'm no longer going to be able to participate in the study. And then, we'll ask you to come back to the lab and just return your supplementation. Some additional questions. So why are we measuring your blood and your urine? Our goal with this project is to kind of create the safest opportunity for young athletes to participating in research. So the evaluations we're going to be doing from a health and safety perspective are really going to be very, very similar to what we would go through if we went to just kind of a standard visit, with our physician or nurse or at a hospital. We're doing this because we just want to provide an additional layer of protection. All the data that we get from a health and safety perspective is going to be blinded. We're actually going to send it to a completely separate group of researchers and physicians that are affiliated with the Mayo Clinic, and then they're going to kind of provide an independent and objective assessment for continued participation. So we're really excited about being able to do that, to just kind of offer just kind of like an additional peace of mind for taking place in a study. What if you find something? What if you find something that you don't expect? It's important, I think, for everybody to understand we are bound by federal law. We are required by our universities to report any serious adverse events or report any new information that that we're advised that may basically jeopardize the health of of any current or future participants. So it's a really, really, really safe opportunity to kind of get started with some supplementation of this nature. And finally, a very common question: well, what's in it for me? All right, everybody's going to get a controlled evaluation of their strength and power changes across the 8 weeks. You'll get feedback about your diet, how many calories, carbs, fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals that you're consuming. You're going to get probably more detailed body composition information that you're going to be able to get otherwise. You get free urine and blood analysis reviewed by physicians for a health and safety perspective. And then some fun things. We're going to hand out a $25 gift card for everybody who finishes all aspects of the study. We've also got some protein shaker cups, with our lab logo on it, as well as some T-shirts that we're going to give out just to say thank you for your time and participation. And then lastly, we really can't press upon you enough. The results of this project will really change forever how experts communicate about creatine in youth athletes. So we really do encourage anyone who thinks they might want to kind of be a part of the study to certainly participate. So how do you get started? The title of the project is right here. It's IRB approved. Option 1, you can essentially click on this link right here and basically just go to the initial screening form, but a little bit easier. Take a picture of the QR code. That QR code will bring up that initial screening form. You can also go to our website. Just go to Google and type in Lindenwood EP&L, and then just click on participate in research, and then there'll be a listing of all of our active studies, and you can read about some of the details that I've shared within this presentation, and also click on the screening form there. So really pretty easy to get started. And this is just a slide that just kind of summarizes everything in totality. So at this point, if there's any questions that you have, certainly take the information provided here. It's certainly be more than welcome to answer any questions or concerns that an individual might have about this study. But otherwise, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention, and I certainly hope to see all of you in the study in the near future.